All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Lady Nyca in with Greenleaf, child. Greenleaf. I'm on the road to catching up. I was gonna do this in two separate videos because I'm doing two uh episodes today to catch up, but I feel like just gonna put them together. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try not to hold you here too long, but we're gonna go on and slap out episode 6 and episode 7, and that way the only thing I'll have left to do is my retro reviews, and for the most part I'll be caught up. So let's get into it. Season 5, episode 6, the sixth day. Child, the episode opened with the bishop on the phone with Agent Dulles of the FBI. He want to know when did Rochelle Cross slither her way into town, and he found out that she is no longer a person of interest, so she can do what she want to. He pissed off and he said that the woman want him dead. Lady May say, "Well, your appointment with the doctor's in 15 minutes. He need to go." She even tells Gigi to make sure he goes, despite him asking her to let that hospital thing go right now, doctor's office visit, because this is a priority. And I say, ain't this a typical man? This is a typical black man. No, he need to go see a doctor, but he is so concerned with everything else, he's not paying attention to his health. And I really feel like it's gonna come back to hunting. We're gonna see. Lady May, um, she would go, but see, she having a meeting with Tara James because Tara want to come over and convince her that she knew nothing of Rochelle dealings with them. So May wants to hear her out. Gigi want to know why she so concerned about what May think. I said, he said he not going to no doctor. He going to that bar that they about to change into the church because he need to be talking to the developers. So then we see Darius call Gigi from a new number and tell her that when he was in Vegas, somebody broke into his hotel and stole his whole laptop and his phone. And he wanted to know if she had those backup emails that she had about Edenvale Landing. So she go up there to pull him up, and then she looking at him, baby, they disappearing right in her face, and she telling him they're all gone. And I was like, they literally were disappearing in her face. Now Charity come home with Phil dad. Well, she getting ready to leave the house, and Phil dad is at that gate. You know that gate they got right there in the front of the Greenleaf Estates. Anyway, Carissa's still not willing to submit to shared custody with Jacob. Now, Phil's dad is at the Greenleaf's house, and Gigi comes in to introduce herself, and he said, "Oh, you the one that I hung up on?" She said, "It's okay." He said, "Oh, I wasn't offering no apology," and baby, I hollered. Anyway, he's willing to talk to this so-called reporter. I'm assuming that would be Darius, but it's gonna have to be off the record because he got some legal issues still going on. So then we see Sophia coming to see Zora. Zora trying to audition for some school. She needs some help with the recording or something like that. And a message while she's holding Zora's phone comes across that her flight would be ready for, her tickets are ready to be picked up for her flight. We learned that she ain't planning to stay. She planning on leaving. She's going to New York for school, but guess what? She ain't got nowhere to stay. She says she's not acting out due to her parents' divorce. She just feels like now is the best time for her to go. Yeah, okay. Now, Mr. Yusef Shabazz explained to Darius, Gigi, uh, and who else was there? It was Darius, Gigi, and Charity. That Bob Company targeted poor black families and basically robbed them, and said that he used Phil's mom uh, as the friendly black face to soothe the black folks over into believing that Edenville was actually a company that was there to help them. He said Phil was so young he don't even know anything about this. He said, and even through the years, despite their rather tarnished relationship, he ain't never spoke out of turn about his mama to him. Okay, he doesn't want to be put out there in the front because you know what I told y'all. He said he got some legal stuff going on, but he told him if you find one person that's willing to speak out, I will back them up. Charity asked Mr. Shabazz to accompany her to tell Phil all of this stuff because he ain't gonna believe her if she go along, and he agreed to do so. So next, Gigi was leaving to take AJ to the doctor's appointment. Noah convinced him to take the meds, although she's feeling away that he's not as close to her and listening to her as he does his father. She's grateful that he's at least willing to take his meds and see a doctor. So Darius reminded her before she went off to go handle her motherly duties that once things settle, he still want to talk about a possible future for them. And I said, hold on. Tara comes to the house and she and Lady May talking. She said she had no idea about Rochelle, but May asked, well, why reach out to her after Jacob visited you if you didn't want trouble? Tara said her sister is volatile, especially when it comes to the Greenleafs. So she basically said that Rochelle wasn't told by her and she found out on some other way it could be bad. Okay? She said at the end of the day, remember that's still my sister. Lady May says she's trying to do what's right, and Tara said, seeing the house now that she is convinced that God wants them to do some good with it. But if they can't reach an agreement, then maybe they're gonna have to try something else. Lady May said Rochelle will not let this go, and Tara agreed. So something must be done, right? Sophia comes to tell Jacob and Carissa about Zora planning to go to New York. Okay, so she snitched. Bishop is down to the bar when Rochelle come there to antagonize him, talking about it's gonna take a lot of work unless he do the old burn it down, like the old Greenleaf way. Rochelle wants this man to admit to killing her daddy. Bishop said he didn't have anything to do with that fire. She said God is not showing favor in his life right now, unlike hers, because he's not being honest. She warns him until he do right ain't nothing gonna happen good for him. He will not prosper. He says she crazy and needs some help. And she said Basis should have killed you when he had the chance and left. I said, oh, that's how you feel? Noah, Gigi, and AJ is at the doctor's appointment. Now she asking him this, you think you might could find out if Miss Davis had any neighbors when she was alive, living around the area, anything like that. Check that out and see if we can find somebody. So he said they will. He will look into it. Then we move into talking about how he convinced AJ to see a doctor. And he said, well, Bishop gifted him that little card that they're gonna work on together. That was, part of it, and then my willingness to listen to him may have helped. He said, I just asked him and he said yes. So of course she's still feeling some kind of way, but I think in time this boy will accept her. Ain't like he don't care nothing about her, but maybe he finds something in common with another man. That be his daddy and his granddaddy. So hopefully that's what the situation be. Anyway, when AJ came out of his doctor visit, he told me, "Oh, I see how it happened." I guess he seen some chemistry between Noah and his mama. He also said the doctor placed him on one medication, which is more simpler for him. However, he has no insurance. Noah said that ain't no issue and told him to give him a minute. Let me finish talking to your mama, which he gladly did because he talking about, that chemistry. He told Gigi, if your folks give up that house and you have to move. I bought a place for me and AJ, and you're welcome to come there. Strictly platonic, no strings attached. Jacob and Carissa go to see Zora in the cottage down there that she got in on the land. She knew Sophia told them and say New York is a great place for her to be. Carissa started saying that she's not going. Jacob took a different approach and said that she's not a kid anymore and they can't control her, but they do want what's best for her and said that they will try to help her out. She said, well, give me a place. Clarissa said, so if we don't help you out, you willing to sleep on the streets? Jacob said, look, just reschedule your flight and give me and your mama a chance to talk. Since it's a lot going on right now, he suggested that Carissa call a relative that lives somewhere close to New York, but not quite in New York. But he asking her just hold up 1 minute, and she agreed. Now Bishop and Lady May arguing back and forth because she trying to make sense of all this stuff. Why Miss Loretta, a white woman, uh, who never attended their church, would leave that house and all them acres to him. Bishop said, why would she leave it to Daryl James so? Bishop said Rochelle threatened him again and he feels that they are con artists. May say that her meeting with Tarwin wasn't hostile and she just wants the truth. But she's not at all happy about the prospect of having to give up their home, but they need to know the truth. They need to do this the right way. So Jacob came in and Carissa and Winky about to leave. He's want to know would they come down now to say goodbye to her. She couldn't go stay with her parents for a while, you know. And so he wants them to come talk, come say goodbye to her, make it seem somewhat normal. Lady Mary say marry somebody you love next time and we won't have to keep worrying about all this normalcy. Bishop said give us a minute, they coming. She asked Bishop to reschedule his doctor's appointment. He said, I wasn't through talking to you about what we was talking about before Jacob came in here. She said you all she said she wanna do things, she said she wanted to do things with some holiness and confess every sin that. Oh, girl, I had messed up my own notes, man. Anyway, and I'm not finna edit this thing just for this little piece. Basically, what he was telling her, you always talking about you want to do stuff with decency and in order and keeping the holiness in it. She said, my every one of my sins have been broadcast all over this town, but yet and still you continue to live a lie that you've lived for 40 years and you constantly living it now. So how can you tell anybody how they supposed to live when your situation ain't straight and clean? He said, keep your holy to yourself. He said, actually said, keep your holy anoint imitations into yourself. Basically, what I said, keep that holy talk to yourself. See, Bishop feel like May is, although he love her, May ain't living her truth because it is true. Seems like all of his stuff came out, but the fact that she had an affair with Lionel and had Gigi seemed to have been slept, kind of, swept up under the rug or whatnot. So he telling her, take care of that first. Child Phil and Judy was down at the church going through some old files when Charity came in. Judy said she and Phil know that Charity was at that church the night prior and said that Charity need to turn her keys in. Charity told him and Judy that she had somebody who would like to talk to him and brought in his dad. Judy asked who was that, Charity's new boyfriend. She said, no, this is Yusuf Shabazz. This is Phil's father. Judy said, well, I'm the fiance and showed the ring. He just looked at it with her simple ass. Now, that's the ring that he had given his Phil's mama years ago. And she putting it all up in his face, talking about, I'm the fiance. I can't stand this little white girl. Jacob and Carissa packing up stuff, and he decided he gonna keep a toy of his son, so when he's there to visit him, he can have it. Carissa stopped. Look, they basically went through this situation where she gave up trying to fight for him because everything she had said so far, like opposing custody, him having joint custody, threatening him about his father and all that shit was done in an attempt to try to save a situation that was long gone, really. Although he thanked her for his child, his children, he ain't trying to be with her like that. And she gotta let it go. And she did. She told him that she will give him shared custody. Okay. Now, Mr. Chavez told Phil what Bob and his folks did to the black folks years ago and how his Phil didn't want to receive that and said he never wanted to see the man again. Kind of hurt his feelings, but he walked away. But I feel like Phil knew in that moment that his dad wasn't lying to him, but he was still hurt that him and his father didn't have the right relationship, okay? They haven't been on the best of terms. Judy tried to console him, even she knew to back off in that moment because the look he gave her when she tried to come up and touch him, oh yeah, he gonna need a minute to process what all his daddy had said. Now we go outside to the green leaf at the green leaves to say goodbye to Carissa. Child, this the part that blew me. It was pleasant, but I guess one could say it was sad. See, I don't like Carissa, so it wasn't sad. Bye, bitch, to me, okay? Then Lady May just bust out with, in this season of new beginnings, we must make sure not to drag anything of old with us. Bishop knew where she was going and said he didn't mean like this. She said, I knew exactly what you mean. She said, but I refuse to be beaten with that old stick ever again. Not by you, not by myself. Charity pulled up and asked what's going on. Gigi said, you just gonna do it like this? She said, Grace is a product of an affair with Lionel Jeffries, of which Grace is known for some time as well as Bishop, and it mattered none to him. We're still a family, and dinner is at 7:30, and walked out. I was done. Mm, baby, that's how you spill your own tea. Later, Jacob and Gigi and Charity was all sitting out drinking and talking about what Lady Mad then revealed. Child, uh, Charity said, well, now we know where that light skin come from. Gigi said face was light skin. Jacob said, no, but not like that. He said, I know mama a little light, but she ain't that light. Child, Charity and Jacob said they not light. They not like her. Then Charity finds out that Aaron and Kevin knew before her, and y'all know that little brat was upset about that a minute. Darius then called and said he got a list of names of the folks that Eatonville took their house, and he has found someone willing to speak on the record. And she headed over to his house. Zora come to see Sophia and they talk about Sophia snitching and then their grandma being freaky. Then Sophia was asked to, uh, Sophia said she told Gigi about the titty piece. And Sophia had to eat that because that was fair. Gigi got to Darius' house, no, didn't see his car there. Knock on the door, no answer. So she called him only to get voicemail. Then a car pulls up in his driveway. And was that now Fernando got out that car? They look like they dude that was who Carissa was cheating with, Fernando. Anyway, he wanted her to stay out of it basically and left. And that brought us to the end of episode 6. We're gonna slide right on into episode 7. Darius already Darius is all right. He had been they actually had to put some bogus charges on him and had him arrested, child. And Gigi had to go bail him out. Now he's going to meet with the family. Bob took his house with no with the family that Bob took their house with that scheme. And Gigi is going to meet with Aaron to see if they can get an injunction that can stop the demolition of the church that day, since it appeared they found a person who was not aware that they were actually signing their land over to H&H. So they got to go make it happen, right? Bishop bring lady made breakfast in bed. She depressed. It's the day that the church will be demolished, but Bishop said celebrate the birth of something new. He got her a new ring and wanted to be remarried sooner than Flag Day. She said, but before they do that, he must be willing to compromise, especially when it comes to Rochelle involvement. She don't want to start a new church with old scandals still hanging out there. She suggested that they sell 10 acres of their land and give the proceeds to Tara. He said that would be like hush money and he did nothing to be hushing about. She said, well, anything to try to just keep her happy. Again, to give Tara anything is admitting I did something wrong and I have not. She said, well, the ring will have to wait till Flag Day. He didn't really appreciate that at all, so he left out. Zora wanted to know if Jacob had spoken to Carissa yet. She wants to know if that cousin had been called because she still wants to get on out there to New York City. She said she found another studio apartment if they can't get the cousin on the line. He said, look, your mama just left here yesterday. She gonna call your cousin today, but ain't nothing happening today. So let it go for right now. Then AJ come by the house because him and Bishop supposed to work on this car together. That's the day. But he also knows that this is the day that they're supposed to demolish the church, and he concerned about Bishop and asked him how he was doing. Bishop said, baby, today is the day that the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. Amen. I said, all right. Now down to the church, it's demolition day, and they waiting on Bob to arrive. Then Gigi and Aaron arrive with an injunction to cease further efforts to demolish the church on the grounds of real estate fraud. Fernando said Jacob may have not known H&H was a part of the sale of their land that they sold to the church, but Carissa damn sure did, and she was fine with it. So Gigi has to call Jacob and ask him to call Carissa and find out if she was aware that H&H was connected to the land that they sold because it's very important. Noah arrives and says that he found the caretaker of Miss Davis' estate. Gigi asked him to look around, remember last episode, and see if he could find somebody. So he done found the caretaker. So we gotta go see her. Lady May and Tara talking about the situation, and she suggested that they sell and give Tara the proceeds. She said Bishop not excited about it, but if it's an offer that Rochelle would take, they would have no choice. Tara said Rochelle will not accept it. She wants the bishop to confess, and Lady May said that may not be possible. Tara said, "Look, me and you are not on. We are not in this together. However, we both do want peace, but Rochelle wants a confession and will not hesitate to put y'all out on the streets." I said, "Oh." Jacob called Carissa to see if she knew that H&H was a part uh, of that company Fernando was allegedly buying their land from, and she had to admit that she did know. And baby, he was disappointed. You can see it in his face. If he ever even somewhat thought about wanting her back again, she killed that. Now AJ and Bishop supposed to be working on that car, but they end up talking about God and being saved. And he said he ain't gonna pressure AJ to do it right then and there. But when he ready and he willing to accept God, he prayed that he there to see that glorious day. I said, "Oh." Gigi and Noah go see the old caretaker, Mr. Otis, and he recalling how Miss Davis and Mr. James used to argue all the time. Sometimes she tell him don't even come back around there, but he come back and she let him in. He always thought it was strange how a black man could talk so powerfully at a white woman. So that made Darius and Gigi ask, I mean Noah and Gigi asked, well, was her and Daryl lovers? He said no. At least I hope not. Child, he said that Daryl James was her son. So Miss Loretta Davis had a child. His name was Daryl James. I tell you about them secrets, honey. Charity and Bishop watching the TV, and they say Bob is announcing his candidacy for Senate. Now, I believe later that day, uh, so there wasn't gonna be no bulldozing of the church just yet. Lady May came in asking what's going on, and they said, tell her what's happening. Gigi comes in and tells them that Daryl James is Loretta Davis' son, and that it was a secret because she was unmarried. Bishop said, "I never made the connection." He was like, "I'm sorry." Lady May was like, "How would you know about that? You wouldn't have, there's no way you would have known it." Charity runs out upset, said, "If we're gonna lose the church, we ain't gonna lose it without a fight." Bishop told May call Tara and Rochelle and tell them to come over to the house. May was like, "Hell to the no." He said, "Just please and trust me." So Zora wants Sophia to ask her mom for money so they could both go out to New York. She tells Sophia to think fast because that flight she had booked is still open and she not canceling it. So Rochelle and Tara make it to the house and Lady May tell them that Loretta Davis is their grandmother. Lady May say if y'all blood ties is proven, then they will forfeit the house and the land without a fight. Tara asks, um, asked Rochelle to chill because she was getting kind of like she was agitated. You know how she gets smart with him all the time. She asking her to chill out with that. Rochelle said, "Damn all this, I want the truth." Basically, she want Bishop to say that he took her father's life. Jacob comes in and say Charity done sent an email out to the church members saying that if they want the truth about Eatonville, Landon, and Bob, come on down to the church right now. And he said by the time he read the email, it's at least 100 folks out there at that point. So Bishop told Rochelle, "You want the truth? Come to the church. It's all finna come out now." Now, let's go to the church. Bob is out in front of the congregation trying to explain them emails Charity sent out. Bob tried to make it seem like he was only offering his help to the people of color. He was there for everybody. Darius and Gigi arrived with the names of all the folks swindled out of their property, all black that they brought. They trusted him with their coins to help them, and he wound up taking their land. They brought up Phil's mama. being the person they used, the face they used to con the black folks into dealing with Bob Company. He tried to blame Phil's mom, said if she was targeting black families, he never approved of such thing and never knew about it. Phil said he knows who Bob is, and Bob said he just assumed that Phil was about to take up for him. Child, he said I never knew what my mom did for a living, but before she died, she was upset that God would not forgive her, but she never said why. I think I now know why she fears so much. Baby, he told Judy, give me my mama ring back. She tried to object. He said, give me back my mama ring. She knew better. She dropped it. But she called it a stupid ring and dropped it to the floor. Bob tried to cast over what was going on and started talking about Bishop and what Bishop did, and Bishop walked in there and owned every one of his faults. He owned it all. He told the story of Loretta Davis and how she left the house which was he used to, secure a loan and build that church. He told of Max sending him to see Miss Loretta, and he did, and how he envisioned the church and got so enamored with what he wanted, he didn't think about Miss Davis and the story she told him about Daryl James. He said that he might not be what Rochelle that might not be what Rochelle wanted to hear, but it was the truth. Bishop told all his tea, how he felt like he had allowed mere materialistic things to cloud his judgment, and he asked for forgiveness for losing his way. He said all he ever wanted to do was show folks the powers and wonders of God, but he ended up showing what's inevitable without God. Baby, big girl, I remember what her name is. What her name? Secretary girl. Was it Corinne or something like that? The one be on the headphones all the time. She said, Bishop, you showed us a lot more than that. Baby, Lady May agreed, as did most of the congregation. Phil told Bob that he needed to beat it, baby. And Bishop told Bob, I told you your days was numbered. Child Charity bust out with old nasty piece of Amazing Grace, and the church began to sing it together as one as Bob and Judy exited stage left. Rochelle was leaving as well when Gigi stopped her and asked her what she happened now. She said, I ain't never want no house. I just wanted to what I got today. And now I can go. Gigi said, by the way, thank you for AJ. She said she know that Rochelle was involved in that. Rochelle said, I just wanted you to know that you ain't better than nobody else. In fact, you may be worse to leave your son like that. Gigi said, yeah, message received loud and clear, but it was a blessing. Rochelle said, well, God can use anybody, including a sinner like me. Phil stops Charity and thanks her. He said he didn't deserve any of what she got from him and said he still loved her. She said, ain't nobody, including my father, my son, ever hurt my heart like you did. And I would never trust you with it again. So it's a no, not now, not never. Bob stepped down later on. We find out from his H&H things because his scandal became public. Gigi told Darius that made her very happy, and how he wound up. See, it's starting to calm down now. He really talk about other stuff. Was he went to lip locking on her? She can't spend the night because she got to go talk to her daughter. Well, Zora was still packing to leave when Gigi come to see Sophia, who wanted to talk. Okay, come to find out, Zora never told that Sophia had sent them pics to Dante and that they were leaked on the internet. She just told her that she did that. Lady May was in that bathroom, y'all. This the part that told me up. She in that bathroom getting ready to love on Bishop. Got up in that bed and realized Bishop was in some type of a crisis. She called 911, but she also gave him a pen because he was able to say he wanted a pen. She wrote, I do. No, he wrote, I do. And she said, I do too. Girl, they just laid back and May was like calling for help and whatnot. It was bad. It really was bad. It looked like Bishop died on us, girl. I hope he didn't, but he had some type of crisis. And the way she was holding him and trying to console him, you knew something terrible had happened. Girl, that was heavy. Oh, that was so heavy. But that was it. That was all. That was Greenleaf episode 6 and 7. I am caught up with them. So Meet me back down here next Tuesday night for another episode of Greenleaf. In closing, as always, remember you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started in order to ever be great. And that the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. In the meantime, in between time, please remember to rate the video. Ratings get me recognized on the YT streets. Comment down below in the panic, aka comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode, or these two episodes. If you haven't subscribed to my channel here or my backup channel, Lady Nyca Live, please subscribe to both of my channels today. The link for the second channel is always in the description box below the title of this video. Also, once you subscribe, please tap your notification bell buttons and set them to all so that each and every time I drop a pre-recorded video or go live from either channel, you'll be notified and you can come in and join in the conversation. I will see you guys next up. Will be a round of retro reviews from Dynasty circa 1981. Have a good remainder to your Thursday. I plan on doing the same. Peace.